The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
1952 North Lincoln, banging on the doors.
True Crime Tuesdays with Brian and Kenzie. This actually happened.
I'll make sure my camera's on.
All right, Brian and Kenzie, Q101, and it's True Crime Tuesday. Kenzie's Crimes. She brings a crime to us that me and Case, the producer, don't know anything what she's going to talk about. She's worked on it hard, and maybe you even know when she gets into it something about it, but you don't know everything.
I do feel like I'm in high school again because I spend hours on these.
Yep.
And I always say that I'm going to do it early. I'm like, you know what? When I have free time this week, I'm going to get done ahead of time. And then I'm cramming on Monday night for 3 hours, writing everything up. I'm like, oh my God. I really feel like I have a notebook.
She's got everything laid out for her.
I do. It makes me feel like I'm in school again. It's hilarious.
She's got her 3-ring binder.
I do.
Out here.
You can hear it.
So
See, it's on a laptop.
So let's go. Hit us up with today's crime.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Angela Johnson?
No. Case, have you heard of Angela Johnson?
Does that sound familiar at all?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
I know. Case is running around.
Case is busy back there. Never mind.
I know.
You ever heard
Case, have you ever heard of Angela Johnson?
No, I have not.
Okay. He's so
I'm
busy.
glad I ran back in for that.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my God!
All
Could
right,
you get
Kenzie.
us a water too? So yeah.
All right, so hit
Okay.
us up and lay it out for us, Kenzie.
Okay, so this is gonna be interesting because I'm actually not. You're gonna have to discover who's the criminal kind of throughout this, which is
okay.
interesting.
Love
Because
it.
when I first started reading this, I was way off. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so Angela Jane Johnson was born January 17th, so we're coming up on that birthday, in 1964. So she was born in Forest City, Iowa. So this is an Iowa-based story, okay? Her sister claims their home life growing up was less than ideal. They had to deal with an abusive mother who battled with alcoholism, which is where that came from. So due to this, Angela and her sister were actually raised by her very religious grandparents. However, that was also a bit of an aggressive environment. They would hold the kids down, wave Bibles in their faces, speak in tongues as a method of giving these elementary school children an exorcism.
Not a good childhood.
So, like, anytime they would do something, like, I think about it, you tell your kid, like, hey, don't talk back or whatever, they assumed that, like, a satanic entity had entered their children's bodies. They took it to that level.
God.
Versus, like, we're just learning behavior.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's already rough.
So not a stable life. And by the way, disclaimer, that's not how all Christians are. I want to throw that out there.
Facts.
My parents were lovely. So
Mine were too.
I don't want someone texting in like, that's not what we're like, but that's who these people were.
Sure.
Okay. Now, after growing up, Angela obviously got out of that situation, but things didn't improve much because she met an Iowa meth kingpin, Dustin Lee Honkin, in the early 1940s.
Of course, that was his name.
Yes. Now, she was currently in a relationship with Terry Degas. And listen, these last names may be butchered. I don't want to hear about it.
I don't care.
I don't care.
They're great. I like how you're saying
getting
them.
the concept.
I like it. I like it.
Terry Degas.
Degas.
That was her boyfriend. That's who she was in a relationship with. He was one of 2 primary drug dealers smuggling meth into Northwest Indiana. All right? Now, the kingpin, Dustin Honkin, and his bestie, who was also kingpin, was Tim Cutcomp. Tim Cutcomp. These names are unbelievable.
Can you spell that last name for us?
It's Cutcomp. Cutcomp.
That's Cutcomp.
I mean, I don't know how else you say it.
I got nothing else.
I don't know.
I don't. I know all these letters. I'm confident.
Cutcomp.
Cutcomp. All right. So Dustin and Tim were the kingpins, the leaders, and the producers of the meth. Okay, they created it. And Angela's boyfriend Terry, as well as his coworker and friend Greg, were the ones who ran the drug runs. They dealt it, and they were selling meth for thousands of dollars. Okay,
Wow.
Per drug run.
Right.
And think about this is a while ago. I mean, cleaning up. Not
Yeah.
a good idea to make money, but like they still clean it up.
Not make
Okay.
money this way, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do it, but still making very good money. Okay. So during one of the drug runs, Dustin the Kingpin and Angela met. Okay. Angela alluded to the fact that her boyfriend, Terry, who is a drug runner, right, was using the meth instead of selling it. She ratted out her own man to Dustin, the head of this whole thing.
Do not
And
get
listen,
high on your own supply.
But this is not like telling the teacher something and you come in for detention. Like, this is bad to rat on people. And I mean, you're essentially saying you don't care if they live or die
Right.
if this happens,
Yeah.
right? So she ratted on him and then offered to be a drug dealer instead of him, take his place as a drug runner. So she had a whole, I mean, you got to, at least she was hustling. Okay?
Entrepreneur.
She was an entrepreneur. Dustin took her up on that. All right. So Terry, and then he wanted his girl Angela to be the new drug runner. They developed a great professional working relationship, but not long after that, a romantic relationship. Okay.
Yep.
Dustin was serious about his empire. He was studying science journals and chemistry textbooks. Like, he was literally studying to expand the empire, how to create more of it, better the product, how to get it to more people. Like, he was in depth. He took this as like he was a small business owner almost, right? And at the same time, Angela became pregnant with Justin's child.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Yeah.
Both of their plans came to a screeching halt when the authorities arrested Dustin and Tim, both of the head kingpins, on federal drug trafficking charges, March 1993.
Okay.
So, boom. The family Angela wanted out the window. The expansion Dustin wanted, boom, at an absolute halt. Okay?
Right.
You may wonder how this was a flawless operation at the time. How
Sounded
did
like
this
they had
happen?
it. Yeah, it sounded like they were killing it.
They had everything, right? Now, during the legal process, Dustin discovered one of his drug runners, Greg. So it was Terry and Greg, keep in mind, right?
Okay.
So Greg had become an informant after federals had busted him with meth in his home.
Ew.
So that's how this operation got busted.
Rat.
Now, listen, Dustin would not let that betrayal go unpunished.
Right.
I'm going to pause right there.
Really?
Yes.
No.
Dun, 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 dun.
Wow. I can't wait to hear what happens. This is exciting.
One song?
One song.
Okay, we'll be back.
So we'll come back in 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 50 seconds, actually. And you're going to get the payoff of what happened in Kenzie Crimes today with Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
1952 North Lincoln, banging on the doors.
True Crime Tuesdays with Brian and Kenzie. This actually happened.
I'll make sure my camera's on.
All right, so we're right deep in the middle of a Kenzie crime here that
Woo.
involves meth getting transferred to Northwest Indiana from Iowa.
Yes.
And you can kind of set us up again before you give us the
Yeah.
pay. I'm on the edge of my seat here, the payoff of what's going on here with this murder or
Well,
whatever.
that's the thing, is that a lot of times we start off necessarily with the victim, but in this case, you don't really know who is going to be the victim.
I
okay?
don't know.
So Angela Johnson was born in Forest City, Iowa. She had a really rough childhood growing up, and it didn't improve much as she entered a relationship with a drug kingpin named Dustin, okay? She became pregnant with his child not long after Dustin was arrested for running the largest meth operation in Iowa. She was pregnant, and they found out that one of the workers of Dustin, one of the drug runners, because he's like the kingpin who created it, was an informant, okay? So well, the case was unfolding, and he's in custody, so you would think, okay, it's fine that he finds this information out. But Dustin did not let that betrayal go unpunished. Okay. So he told the courts, or I guess the lawyer, whoever you informed this information with, that he planned on pleading guilty. Okay?
Okay.
He gave that information, and his trial date was set for July 30th, 1993. They didn't find him to be a huge threat. They thought they had enough information. Also, at that time, they just found him he was not violent. It was a drug-related crime, correct?
Yeah.
So Angela, his lover, purchased a gun on July 7th and waited for her man to be released on bond. He got to go out on bond.
Okay. Wow.
Risky, I would say, but
Yeah.
I guess they trusted him because like this guy says he's guilty. He's good. He's gonna come through.
He'll come back.
Oh yeah. So upon Dustin's release, they paid Greg, the informant and previous drug runner,
Yeah.
okay, a little visit to his apartment and forcefully got him to record a video statement claiming Dustin was completely innocent.
Whoa.
And then he made everything up. He was actually guilty. Not a great video.
Probably said they're going to kill you unless you do this.
Yes. But I don't know if that was necessarily the ultimatum, because after that video was filmed, they forced Greg, Lori, who's the owner of the apartment, they just stormed into, and then 2 innocent unnamed minors into a car, took them to a secluded wooded area outside of Mason City, and executed them with the gun that Angela had purchased.
Whoa.
Yep.
Whoa.
No mercy. People not even involved. Boom.
Ugh.
Gone. Now, Terry was her ex, right? Who also worked for the drug kingpin Dustin. Terry had been roped into the court case as well. So it started to unfold, and they gave him an ultimatum, like the federal agents, saying, you're either going to be an informant or you're going to be charged. And he was like, what do you need to know, sir?
Very good fellas.
How can I help you? Okay,
no one wants to go to jail anymore and keep the secrets.
No. Where's the honor?
There's no more honor anymore.
Back in my day.
Yeah, of course.
You went to the pokey. And you kept this in.
You went to the what?
The pokey jail.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't want to know why they called it pokey.
Well, think about it.
Hello. Okay, so now Terry was her ex. He got roped in. He's now becoming an informant. And Angela and Dustin found out about this. And man, they got, I don't know what's going on. They got ears and eyes everywhere. They are finding everything out, these two. So Angela lured Terry to a country club with the promise of being interested in mending their previous romantic relationship. This was November 5th. Terry then met the same fate as the previous 4 victims.
Good Lord.
Now, Dustin and his coke kingpin, Tim, who ran the whole operation, they were not able to elude the authorities for very long. Obviously, like everybody who was a witness is dropping like flies, everything. They were arrested once again February 7th, 1996. So it took a little while, a couple years, but they got them. And that is where they discovered meth inside Dustin's home, which kind of a fate sealer because he had like the actual operation of where he was making it inside his house. I usually don't recommend that.
To all the people you know making meth?
Yeah. We usually recommend it not being inside your house. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a tough one,
Yeah.
you know?
There's a lot of those storage places out there you can rent from pretty easy. Just get it there.
Well, whatever. I'm not going to give advice. I'm just saying. Okay. So Angela was also betrayed by a friend.
Oh, boy.
They saw a pistol in her closet and reported it. Angela was then arrested on 5 counts of murder,
Oof.
July 2000. Okay, so a couple more years after this, the murder weapon was found and pinned on Angela because a friend told on her. Now, while awaiting her trial, Angela formed a friendship and an alliance with a federal inmate, Robert McNeese. And he dug for all the details on her crimes and promised her he'd find someone to take the blame. Isn't that crazy?
What?
So she was like, yes.
Okay.
Angela spilled it all. She even included maps of where to find the bodies because like Robert had promised to pin all this information on somebody else.
Oh, no. I know what's going on here.
Robert immediately handed all of this information over to the authorities.
Everybody in this story is a rat.
It's unbelievable.
God.
It's like a kindergarten class. It's crazy.
They played a telephone game.
Oh my
Jesus.
God. So they were able to discover every single one of the 5 bodies based off of her own drawings. So she was found guilty, but she tried to blame the entire thing on Dustin, her lover. So she was sentenced to death, actually, December 19th, 2005.
Wow.
And she claimed Dustin was a sociopath and stated, I regret I wasn't strong enough to resist what he wanted her to do. And I'm like, well, he was in jail. That would have been a really good time to not do those things.
To find some new girlfriends and start your life over.
Little movie move, whatever.
Get that revenge body going.
That's just me though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know her journey.
Yeah.
Okay. So Now, plot twist, you're probably thinking right now Angela has passed away,
So
right?
Angela, death penalty. They're
Death
all,
penalty,
everybody's in jail, everybody ran.
Yeah. No. Plot twist, Angela's death sentence was actually vacated March 2012 because of a lack of her defense team presenting information about her mental health. So the judge decided to relieve her of the death penalty. She was resentenced to life in prison without parole December 2014. Right now, she is 59 years old and she's in a federal correction institute in Alabama. She is alive to this day, serving life in prison in Alabama for these 5 murders.
Wow.
Is that not insane?
That's an insane story. That's a good one. I knew nothing about this. Nothing.
Yeah.
Never heard of this crime at all.
No, and when I started it, because I look up notorious crimes, I try to find Midwest, like local connections. I started this story reading it because I do my best to condense it. There's obviously so many details.
Yeah.
And I thought she was going to be the victim the whole time.
Yeah.
Like her poor past and all these things and meeting up. It's a miracle she survived. The amount of people she surrounded herself with that should have killed her.
And also
And
read
I
it.
can't right?
Everybody read it in the story.
It's unbelievable, but she actually was the one who committed the most murder, slash all of them, and then blamed Dustin.
Good. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't want to ask any follow-up questions. I don't know. There was so much information. I'm just saying what the text line said. 630 was curious. Did she ever have the baby? Do you know about that?
It never said she had the baby, so I'm assuming something happened there, but that was not ever written in the details. So I know that she got pregnant. I think that they decided to not be pregnant. Was the vibe I got.
Yeah, well, yeah, the way this story went. Wow, good story.
Crazy.
Yeah. And there you go. Another Kenzie's Crimes out there. Maybe this is what happens when you do this, by the way. I end up doing a deep dive later on myself, like on Wikipedia and stuff like that.
And I do love, we've had people be like, hey, have you heard of this? Or I've always wondered about this story. So if there's any that you've wanted to hear a deep dive on, always send them in because at least one person I know will enjoy it. So that's helpful for me.
Yeah, you can text in 312-591.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.